In this video, we're going to look at generating deliverables from Dolby Atmos content. More than ever, when creating content for Blu-ray or streaming services, more and more deliverables are being requested. Dolby Atmos may seem like it's just adding to that, but in fact, we hope that by mixing in Dolby Atmos, we make it much easier to generate a lot of those other deliverables that we know are necessary. Whether it's different formats or stems that are required, the Dolby Atmos Mastering Suite and Dolby Atmos Production Suite make it very easy to generate those files. When working in Dolby Atmos and recording a master file, it creates a single master file set which contains all the audio, program level metadata, and object metadata for your mix. This can then either be played back on another rendering system or encoded and then rendered to any speaker configuration. Once this file has been encoded, the decoder can easily render it to any consumer speaker layout, all the way down from Atmos, down to 7.1, 5.1, stereo, mono, and even binaural. Working in Atmos makes it very easy to have your master mix be in Atmos and generate all of your other deliverables from there. One of the new features in version 3 of the Dolby Atmos Mastering Suite is the addition of trim controls for your 7.1 and 5.1 mix. To access these, go to Windows, Trim Control. These controls are only available when monitoring in a layout which supports trims and will always show the settings for what is being monitored. Change the monitor layout to 5.1 and you'll see that the controls now become available. Keeping it set to automatic uses the standard renderer settings to generate the 5.1 mix. However, if you set it to manual, you now have control over several of the renderer parameters. The surround and height trims allow you to set a dB trim on either the surround content or the overhead content when it is folded into the 5.1 mix. And the front-back balance parameters give you additional control on how both the surround and overhead content folds down in terms of pushing more towards the front or the rear of the soundscape. These settings are adjustable in real time and will affect the monitoring as well as any re-renders that you create. And the settings are written as metadata into your master file. This can be done either before you record a master file, or once you've recorded it, you can go back and tweak the settings. When you accept the new settings, they're written back to the master file as program level metadata for the duration of that file. With this metadata written, when the file is encoded by an encoder that accepts these parameters, it will make it so that legacy devices will play back in 5.1 or 7.1 as defined by these values. But the Atmos mix will remain unchanged. This gives you more control than ever over how your mix will sound in a variety of environments. In addition to creating your Atmos file set and using that to render down in Atmos devices, we also have the ability to create re-renders or channel-based mixes from your Atmos content. This is very easy to accomplish with the Atmos renderer. To set up for re-renders, go to Windows, Re-renders. Here you can create any number of re-render setups for both live monitoring as well as offline re-rendering. This re-render process is not only for complete mixes, but can also be used to create stem deliverables as well, such as a dialogue stem, a music stem, an effect stem, or an M&E stem. To create a re-render, select the format for the re-render and click Add. With no output path selected, it will be available as an offline re-render. By assigning output paths, this will change into a live re-render output. By clicking the Properties button, you can change the name, layout, and switch what the source content is. Any groups that have been created in the input configuration will be shown when custom is selected. Once finished, click Accept to commit the changes. Live re-renders can be routed to sources on your monitor playback system or into a digital audio workstation for either monitoring or recording. Any of the re-renders can be exported from the file export re-render when a master is present. A dialog box will come up and let you name, choose a directory path, and select which re-renders you want to export. An optional time range can be set, allowing you to choose specific in and out points for your export. Your input re-render configuration can be saved as a separate file and reloaded as necessary. This can be particularly useful when working on multiple episodes of a show, for example, where you may want to always remember how you generated your different deliverables. In addition to the channel-based exports that are required, many streaming services are requiring a B-Wave ADM file for your Atmos mix. The ADM file includes all of your channels of audio that are being used in the Atmos master file, along with the object panning metadata and the program metadata, and is all saved into a single, easy-to-transport container file. The corresponding exported ADM file can then be imported into a workstation such as Pro Tools Ultimate as correctly configured multi-channel audio tracks for beds, as well as object audio tracks with the panning metadata intact. To create an ADM file, load the master file you want to create it from. Then, go to File, Export ADM. A name for the file can be entered, as well as choosing a directory where the file will be saved to. You can optionally set a time range for the exported file, and then click Export. To then import the file into Pro Tools, use File, Import Session Data, and navigate to the ADM file to import. A dialog box will come up allowing you to choose what tracks you want to import, as well as media options, timecode mapping, track offsets, sample rate conversions, and custom options for object panning metadata, output assignment, and adding the group names to the tracks. The delivery of different mix formats are an important part of any Dolby Atmos workflow. The Dolby Atmos Mastering Suite and Dolby Atmos Production Suite make this incredibly easy, whether you're delivering a complete mix via an ADM file or creating channel-based stems of your mix. You can do all of that in both live and offline workflows, making it easier than ever to mix in Atmos and generate everything else you need from there. For more information on this and other Dolby Atmos products, please visit dolby.com.